Straight to voicemail.
All right. Well, it's me and Addison today. We were wondering where everybody else is. Sam had trouble with his internet, and Natalie's off doing cattle. So we're going to do a little bit of practice here of what we did yesterday. Hopefully you watched that video, took a look. Now I'm going to switch to speaker view here. And I know it's got Addison up there, but I'm going to change the video.
Oh, goodness. The chicken's on our deck now.
Okay. The chicken's on you. Oh, you're giving me a look at that. Okay, hold on. It's too bright. I can't see it.
Oh, goodness. So many cords.
I am going to go. Oh, there.
This is wandering around. Try to get it.
Uh-oh. Now you got your dog all riled.
But it's running away.
Now
There's
two.
There are two of them. Calm down, Telly. Okay, good girl. She's not calming down.
All right.
Tyler.
All right, you might have to mute. Okay, so let's take a look at these here, Addison and everybody else. If you remember, I talked about a percent of change from yesterday. And so remember, I said the AOC is the amount of change and the OA is the original amount. So if you got your book with you, turn to page 293 in your book there. Okay, we'll look at the written exercises today. We got the evens to do, 2 through 20. So that's like 10 problems. Okay, we're going to just start kind of working through these. So every once in a while, Addison, I'll bump a question to you. You can turn your mute off and talk to me about it. So we look at number 2. It says, if my marker is going to work, change markers. Says 25 to 12. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is we got to find what the amount of change is. So our first step is to do a subtraction problem. So we take the larger number and subtract the smaller number, regardless of which one is larger, the first one or the second one. We always subtract the smaller from the larger. Okay, when you look at this, 2 minus 5 minus 2 is 3. 2 minus 1 is 1. So when we look at that, our answer there is the amount of, or the AOC, the amount of change. Okay, so that becomes our top number on our fraction. Now the OA is the original amount. If you remember from yesterday's video, if you watched, the first number is always the original amount. So in this situation, 25 is the first number. So we got that there. Okay? Now, our next step is to change this to a decimal. Okay? The way we do that, top number goes in the box, bottom number goes outside, add zeros as needed. So then we say 25 goes into 130. I would say 5 times. If I had 5 quarters, I'd have $1.25. That's the way I think about it when I'm using 25. So when I subtract, borrow from the 3, subtract 5 from 10, and you get 5. Bring down a 0, and then you say, how many quarters are in 50 cents? 2. So my decimal answer is 52. All right, Addison, what would be the percent if I changed the decimal 52 to a percent? What it would be?
52%.
Yes, we move our decimal.
Oh,
We move our decimal 2 places, and so there's the answer to number 2, 52%. All right, all those questions on this page are like that. Let's do another one here. Okay, 52% for number 2. Number 4. 16 to 10. Okay, Addison, what's the first step?
divide them.
Nope, we're going to subtract, right? First step is always subtract. The smaller one taken away from the bigger one, right? So 16 minus 10, answer is 6. Okay, this answer is the AOC. All right, so that goes on the top of my fraction. What number goes to the bottom, Addison?
10.
We always use the first number as the original amount, so it should have been 16. I wish it was 10. That would make easy division, but it's not. Okay, I am going to have to get another marker. Hold on. All right. So then we take the top number, put it in the box, and the bottom number on the outside. Add a decimal and add zeros. Okay. Now we got to think, how many times does 16 go into 60? We're going to guess 3 times. So 16 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 48. Subtract 48 from 60. Far from the 6, make it a 5. 10 minus 8 is 2. 5 minus 4 is 1. Okay, 12 is less than 16, so I'm okay for my first number. Don't forget to put my decimal up here. Now, add a 0. Okay. Well, that's almost 10. I say it's going to be a high number. Let's try 8. 6 times 8 is 48. 8 times 1, oh, that's too much. I went too high. I'm going to have to switch. Sometimes we mess up. I got to go with 7. All right, redo. 6 times 7 is 42. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 4 is 12. Okay, that works pretty good. Borrow from the 2, make it a 1. Subtract 2 from 10, get 8, add 1 more 0 and bring it down. Okay, if you noticed, 8 is half of 16, so my next number is going to be 5. It always is. When my remainder is half of what I'm dividing by, my next number should be a 5. 6 times 5 is 30. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 80. And sure enough, that terminated, that ended. Okay? So now, what is the percent of that decimal number?
.75%.
Move it twice.
36.5.
Yes. 37.5. Okay? So that would be number 4. Number 4's answer. All right. Moving on to number 6. Okay? And that one says 5 to 7. Okay. All right, Addison, what's our first step?
Subtract.
Correct. Subtract the smaller number from the larger number. 5, take 5 away from 7, and we get 2. Where does that 2 go?
2 over 5.
2 over 5. Correct. Good. All right. Now we do our division. This one's going to be an easy one. Oh, I did the wrong number 6. I did the class exercises. Don't do that. I got to erase. No wonder it was so easy. All right, we got to go back. Let's go back. The 6 in the written exercise, it is 63 to 79. Okay, that's a little bit tougher. All right, that makes more sense. Now I'm going to, like you said before, subtract 63 from 79, and you get 16. Now this is 16 over 63. A little bit tougher. A little bit tougher. Okay. Let's watch out for this one. We may end up having to round on it. Okay, we'll see how far we go. I know we're going at least 3. Okay. So 63 will go into 160. Probably 6 times 3 is 18. That's too much. Let's try 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. Subtract. Bar from the 6, make it a 5. 10 minus 6, 4. 5 minus 2, 3. Bring down a 0. Big yawn. Okay. Try it again. How many times will 6 go in there? Well, 6 goes into 34. 6 times 6 is 36. That's too much. Let's try 6 times 5. So let's put a 5 in there. 3 times 5 is 15. 6 times 5 is 30 plus 1 is 31. Okay. Now let's subtract. Bar from the 4, make it a 3. 10 minus 5 is 5. 3 minus 1 is 2. Bring down a 0. Okay. Let's see. 6 times 4 is 24. Let's try 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Carry my 1. 6 times 4 is 24 plus 1 is 25. Oh, too much. Let's go 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 6 is 18. Borrow from the 5. Make it a 4. 10 minus 9 is 1. Borrow the 2. Make it a 1. 14 minus 8 is 61. It's less, not by much. Now, from here, oh, you can't even see that. Let's take a look. There we go. From here, I can already tell that my number is going to be more than 5. Probably about 8 or 9. Okay? Regardless of what that number is, it's more than 5, and we don't want to go more than 4 places. We're going to round to this place. So we have to decide, does it stay at 3 or does it move up to 4? In this situation, since it's 5 or more, add 5 or better, add 1 more. Okay? So my answer is going to be, when I move my decimal twice, 25.4%, because we're rounding it to the nearest tenth of a percent. So none of my percent answers on the front. It should be more than, should have more than 1 number behind the decimal. That one was a tricky one. All right, let's look at number 8, because that one's got some trickiness to it too. Eight to 19. Okay, Addison, first step, what do we do?
Subtract.
What?
Subtract 8 minus 19.
What do you get when you subtract 8 from 19?
11.
Yes. Now what's next?
11/8.
Yes.
And divide.
Okay, so this one actually is going to have a number in front of our decimal in our answer. 8 goes into 11 one time. When we subtract, we get 3, bring down a 0. How many times does 8 go into 30?
3.
Try one more. Oh, no, wait, you're right. 3 is correct. My fault. 8 times 3 is 24. Borrow from the 3. 10 minus 4 is 6. Bring down our next number. How many times 8 go into 60?
7.
Yep. 56. We got one more. Subtract. Borrow from the 6, make it 5. 10 minus 6 is 4. Bring down that 0. 8 goes into 40.
5.
5. Okay. At the end, we move our decimal 2 places to the right. 1, 2. That makes my answer here 137.5%. Okay? That one's number 8. All right, I'm going to skip 10 and 12. Let you do those on your own, and we're going to do a couple of the other ones because we're kind of running out of time. Okay? So let's look at the other ones. If you turn the page to 294 now, we'll try to do at least 2 of these. I'm going to get rid of the percent of change one. Now we're going to do different. These are a little bit easier, I think. With this one, we're using this formula. We're going to find out what the amount of change is, and then we're going to change our original answer after that. So it's kind of a 2-step process. The first thing that we're going to do, is we're going to take the percent, change it to a decimal, and then multiply it times the amount of change. So the first one, or the original amount, not the amount of change, the original amount. So the first one, number 14, has 76, and then that semicolon, and then it gives us 25%, and then it tells us that they want to do an increase. I do it with an arrow up to let me know that it's an increase. So, first of all, we change our percent to a decimal. What's that decimal? 25% changes to what decimal?
25.
0.25, right? I'm going to put that up here.
That's what I meant.
Yep. So we're moving it to the left now when we change it back to a decimal. Now we multiply these. I won't deny you using a calculator if you want to on this one. Okay? So I got my calculator right here too. I'm going to do that. 76 times 0.25. When I do that, I got the answer of 19. Now, I'm not done. That told me what the amount of change was. So if this is our original amount, the second step of this problem is to either add or subtract this answer back to the original amount. The thing that determines whether we add or subtract or not is whether we're increasing, add, or decreasing, subtract. In this problem, we're increasing. So we're going to take 76 and add it to 19. And that will give us the final answer we want. 6 plus 9 is 15, 7, 8, 9. So my final answer on number 14 is 95. Okay? Let's do another one. Like I said, I think these are a little bit easier to do. That division gets a little bit tedious sometimes. So let's look at number 16. we'll do this last problem, and then you're going to have to do the other two on your own. So that only gives you 4 that you have to do on your own, because we worked through the other 6. So 250 and 65%, and they want us to decrease. Okay, Addison, what's our first step?
Subtract.
That was the last problem.
Oh.
That was the last style of problems. On these style problems, 16, 18, and 20, first step is to change the percent to a decimal. What is that?
63%?
Well, we have 63%. Change it to a decimal by moving the decimal.
Oh, okay. So 0.63.
0.63, yes. Okay. Then we're going to multiply that times 250, which is the original amount. Okay. So, got my calculator here again. 250 times 0.63. And I get a whopping 157.5. So that is the amount of change. The second step is now taking the amount of change and either adding or subtracting from the original amount. So I stick the original amount out here. My marker is being a fuddy-duddy. And in this situation, I'm going to subtract because we're decreasing. Decreasing means subtract. Now, I have to be careful because I have a decimal. When I have a decimal and I add or subtract, I need to line up the decimals. 250 didn't have a decimal, so I had to add 1 and then add a 0 behind it so I could subtract it. Borrow from the 5, make it a 4, make that 10, and then borrow from that and make it a 9. And so now my decimal 0 after the decimal has 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 7 is 2. I can't take 5 from 4, so I have to borrow. And so 14 minus 5 is 9. 1 minus 1 is nothing. So my new number is 92.5. Okay, you got it? All right. That leaves you 18 and 20 and 10 and 12 left to do. Okay?
Wait, I missed. What was 14? I missed that.
14 was when you took 76 times 0.25, and then you got the answer of 19. And since this was an increase, you add 19 to 76. Answer should have been 95. Okay? Each of these will have 2 steps. 16 and 18, or 18 and 20 will have a multiply, then you add or subtract, depending on whether you're increasing or decreasing. The next 2 are both increase, so 18 and 20, you're both going to add the answer of the first problem to the original number. Okay, good luck with that. Any more questions, Addison, before we go? Okay, go get them. I gave you 6 of the answers today. All right, if you need to review, I'm going to send this out as a link too. So if you're not still understanding, you can go back through it.
Okay.
All right, we'll see you later. Thanks for being on today.